All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. It's amazing to see so many of you join us on this call. It really is. It's obviously touched a nerve, the topic of this call tonight, which is really, initially it started out as an initiative we wanted to offer to our home educators or people who wanted to home educate, but their barrier to that was not being able to create an income unless they were going out to work. So the idea behind this evening's call that we've got here, the round table, the panel that we have here this evening, is to really provide you with some inspiration, some options, some ideas and guidance as to what you can do to create other sources of income at home. So we are going to be looking at crypto. We are going to be looking at, business opportunities like MLM and affiliate marketing. We are going to be looking at, ways you can actually create an income from what you love doing, ways you can create an income from what you're really good at. And I'm delighted to welcome on the call with us this evening, we've got Madalena, who is the head of our Shine Tribe, our luminary leader of our Shine Tribe. And Madalena is very, very much behind, doing what you're passionate about, doing what you love. What do you really love to do? And how can we, create an income from that? And she works very closely with Peter, Little John Cook, who is also on this call. And he is the head of our Boss Tribe. And again, he actually has ways that you can monetize, your skill sets, what you're good at. And of course, my brother here, he is our sort of resident crypto expert, and he can offer advice as if you want to look at crypto for creating more of a passive kind of income. And myself, I have been working online. I'm an online marketer. I have been doing it for 6 years. And I create, incomes from affiliate marketing and blogging. And so we're going to discuss the whole gamut of everything that's available to you, and also the importance of how it is to be aligned with those things. So I think, Madalena, if it's okay with you, I'm going to pass over to you in just a second. And I would just like to say, bring your questions. We want to hear from you. You can talk to us when we finish presenting. You can talk to us live. You can ask your questions, and we'd love to be able to offer you advice on this call. So over to you, Madalena.
Hey Karen, and hi everyone. Welcome. It's really nice to be here tonight. So as Karen shared, I am the luminary leader of Shine Tribe, which is all about our passion and our creativity and the gifts and the things that we love doing and generating money and abundance from that passion. Instead of working like a 9 to 5, being unhappy with our job, having to comply with certain things that we might not want to comply with. There are so many options and so many possibilities for us. Also, as the luminary leader of Freedom Tribe, I'm all about sovereignty and freedom and human rights. So we're diving into this call. We're going to dive into like new ways we can generate that abundance, and we can be less dependent on governments, on banks, on working for someone else. So less codependency and more independence and sovereignty and freedom. So we can like feel free, but also inspire the world with what inspires us. We can be an inspiration through what inspires us. So I'm really grateful to be here today. And for now, this is all I have to share. Maybe I will end mic soon and share some more yummies. But for now, this is me. Welcome and thank you.
Thanks very much, Madalena. And I know you have a lot of wisdom to bring, and I'm sure we'll be divulging a little more into that further on in the call. Peter, would you like to come forward and introduce, what you can, or how you can contribute and what wisdom you can bring to this call?
Okay, thanks, Karen. Hi, everybody. What I see is the big challenge, the big opportunity is we have so many possibilities today in relation to making money doing what we love. Many options, and maybe if you've clicked on marketing related things, then you start getting ads and you get all these things showing you, you can do this, you can write your own book, you can be an affiliate marketer, you start getting all sorts of options thrown at you. And so most of us know there are possibilities, but then there's the challenge of, can I do it? Is this right for me? Do I even feel comfortable with it? So I'd like to interact with you to see what has called you, what has interested you in terms of, you could say, alternative ways of making income. And what have you identified as your struggles, challenges, what's holding you back? What might be the cause of procrastinating if you've already thought about doing this before, or what have you tried and not found that it didn't work for you? And from there, I'd love to, let's say, take the conversation forward from that place. Rather than give you a sort of just a pile of ideas, I'd love to hear, first of all, where are you at with this theme? And to be a little bit more, bring it more into focus, I could say that something I have in mind to talk about, but I'm going to let it go where it naturally flows from the sharing that comes. But a couple of examples of things that could be worth looking into today is membership programs, or where you focus on some area of expertise you have as a first step for those who are taking a first step from going from a, let's say, more conventional, fixed and secure job into something that really is your own. Going from maybe an interest that's a hobby or something that you have a skill in, and going into working independently. So it may be something you think of as a hobby, or it may be something that's more formal work, but in a freelance format. So for some people, in terms of the psychological shift, it can be easier to think of moving into a low ticket offer, as it's called in marketing, where you would a membership program is something that usually would fit into that kind of category, where you would aim to have a bunch of people paying not that much per month. And so it can help if you're not feeling super confident in launching something new, to start with that kind of framework. But I think I'll just leave it at that before hearing the feedback. I'd love to hear from everybody. I don't know if we're doing first introductions, and so when it's appropriate, then we can come to that. Great. Thank you, Karen.
That's great. Thanks so much, Peter. And yes, we will definitely circle back with everyone. Richard, do you want to just give us a little intro to your background in crypto?
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in cryptocurrency for about 4 years now. When I first got involved in it, there was very little in the manner of resources to actually help guide you on your way. It was kind of every man for himself. There certainly weren't the amount of resources that are around now to teach you. You very much had to learn from your mistakes. And in recent years as well, the ways that you can earn money from crypto have changed quite substantially. So whereas previously you could buy a coin and hope it went up in value, or you could trade it, and trading's not for everyone, there was very little else you can actually do if you were sort of the average person on the street. Now there's a whole world of decentralized finance out there. So when I say decentralized finance, what I mean is the current banking system that we all know is broken, is centralized. You have to put your money into a bank for it to go pretty much anywhere, and the bank takes its fees, and then it uses your money to make ridiculous amounts of money that you see absolutely none of. And with decentralized finance, it basically means becoming your own bank. So it's, instead of the profits that you would normally lose, because cryptocurrency is peer-to-peer rather than going through a centralized system, payments go directly from person to person. All the profits that the bank would have taken can potentially be yours if you know how to achieve this. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit later on is to go into that in a little bit more depth and to explain a little bit more how you can make money from cryptocurrency through the decentralized finance.
Okay, fantastic. And I know a lot of you know me as Star Sovereign on Facebook. And, for me, Facebook has been a major platform for actually meeting people and driving business and building relationships. This is a real key part. And one thing I think that's become very, very clear is that, and I'm sure a lot of you will resonate with this, is your vibe attracts your tribe. Never in, I think, history has there been a time when people have literally come together as a collective because we feel the same way about something. And it was one of the reasons, because I knew it was always important to speak from this place of authenticity for the last few years, prior to everything that's been happening lately. And it's that authenticity that draws people into your world. And it's something I've used, it's something that's just come naturally to me. It's something that just by speaking your truth, you realize that you connect with people on a level. And as you know, there will be people who will hate you. There will be people who will resist you. There will be people who will just, you are not for them. And, this is a very basic understanding that I've come to understand that this is the only way to be, because actually when you're working, whether you're getting new clients, whether you are, building a business, perhaps you're going to become a tutor or whatever it might be, you want to work with people that you enjoy working with. And if you're not being completely authentic with the message you're putting out there, then you're going to get the people who are not in alignment with who you are. And the reason I speak to this first is because it's been a real lesson over the last 5-6 years since I became an entrepreneurial mum, to learn this. I left my job without a flipping Scooby-Doo as to what I was going to be doing. I literally had this intuitive download that it was safe to leave my job. It's safe to leave your job. And it was such an incredible feeling. I've always been quite intuitive anyway. And I just went, okay. And I told my husband, I'm going to leave my job. And he said, okay. He trusted me, and he backed me up. And I didn't know what I was going to do. But you have to trust that what you're meant to be doing will flow through you. Now, what I see happening in current times is that this is happening more and more rapidly, and people are realizing the traps that we've been set throughout this life with the banks, with working, with taxes, with government, all of those things. And we're realizing we have to sever those ties. And especially with what we're seeing with this kind of dystopian movement coming in, no jobs, no jabs, no jabs, no jobs, that kind of thing. And people just wanting to be independent and sovereign of all of those things, and that is why we're gathering here today to really help you. And what I want to do this evening, I know that, and Irina's just said, love that, Karen, I needed that, a beautiful reminder to trust our intuition. And that's absolutely correct. Believe it or not, we get nudges all the time. And when we are in fear, it's very difficult to tune into those nudges. This is why when we come together on a call like this, we have to be in a place of empowerment. And that's what we intend to do, is to put you in that place of empowerment, so that the creativity can start to flow through you. Now, I've got a lady on this call, Bev, and she's been very brave because she was feeling very nervous about coming on this call, and she's under the name of Joshua Passer, which I believe is her son. So I'm just going to unmute you, Bev, because we had a chat earlier in the week. And I know, you were a teacher yourself. You have left the system because you could see the manipulation within the school system even before all of this, couldn't you?
Yeah. So basically, I've been qualified coming up 23 years, and I was in management, single mum, 3 children. And basically, I got to the point where I had to make a decision because there was so much within the system. And don't get me wrong, this isn't against teachers, because I still believe, and I know many of my friends are teachers, that everybody, the majority of people, in fact, I'd say everybody goes into teaching for the right reasons. But unfortunately, the system, I'll go as far as to say the system's broken. And I had a decision to make, because every day I'd see things happening within the system that wasn't for the benefit of the children and still isn't for the benefit of the children. So I had a real moral dilemma. And obviously I'm a single mum, I've got 3 children to support. I've got bills to pay, but it was like a tug of war inside me the whole time. And I think when you get to a point where morally you've got a decision to make of, can I still be authentic? And it always comes down to authenticity. Can I look myself in the mirror and be happy with what I'm doing? And don't get me wrong, there's lots of good things still within the education system, but when I could see children within the classroom who all they needed was a little bit of extra help, a little bit of extra time, but unfortunately the system isn't geared towards that. It's about having all children, regardless of the background, what they've gone on in their life. It's all about having children almost like little clones. And to me, that isn't what it's about. And so I gave up my job, a bit like you, Karen. I had no job to go to, but I had this. My mum was like past herself, obviously thinking, what you're doing, you're going to have no income. But it was like this feeling of, I know I'm going to be all right. And being somebody who's always been, followed the system, done everything step by step. Basically, I've never left school. Went to uni, got my degree. I did my degree in psychology, did my teacher training, stayed in school. And all of a sudden, I'm 46 now. It happened when I was 44. And it was like, something just doesn't feel right anymore, to the point where people coming into the system, it was like they weren't teachers anymore. And it almost feels like it's more of a corporate movement. And at the time I didn't understand it, but it just felt wrong to me. And that's what I'm now trusting to go with my gut. And I now understand. It didn't make sense to me at the time, but I can now understand that. I think I saw what was happening and before it actually happened, if you understand what I mean. And it was almost like what I went through and the decisions I had to make almost have prepared me for being able to see what's happening in wider society now. And so, so I've left teaching. I've set up a tutoring company and I do evenings. I still do odd days on supply because I do still love teaching. I love the children. I love being in the class. I love the energy, and the benefits of being a supply teacher is I can go in and I can do things on my terms. I'm not embroiled in the system anymore. But long term, I'm under no illusion that it'll probably get to the point where you have to be vaccinated to teach in school. So I'm now looking long term for how I can branch out and how I can use my skills to possibly go into the homeschool network. And like Peter was saying, I'm probably one of the people who could do with some ideas, because I'm not a natural salesperson. I find it hard to push myself out, and believe it or not, 10 minutes before this call I was thinking, am I going to go on the calls, because I've got the fear. This doesn't feel comfortable for me, but I've got to the point where I realise I have to push through that. So really I'm looking out for ideas of what maybe people, ideas about what I could maybe do during the day to help people who are homeschooling. Would you be interested in workshops? Would you I mean, I do offer one-to-one tutoring, but yeah, I'm basically at a crossroads in my life where I'm having to feel the fear and do it anyways, because I want to be able to look in the mirror and be authentic. Yeah, so that's me, that's mine. So I'm like at a crossroads in my life at the minute, but I know I'm going in the right direction. Don't know how I'm going to get there, but I've just got this kind of faith that it'll all work out.
Oh, thanks so much for coming on, Bev, because I knew this was quite a big thing for you. So I really do appreciate you coming on, speaking out. And like I say, it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And you know, this is very much part of the entrepreneurial path. Madalena or Peter, do you have anything you'd like to say to Bev here?
Yeah, I would love to. Not just to you, but for all of us. We are all experiencing a major transition and shifts in our lives. And in this life, none of us have ever experienced something so global that is happening to all of us, and we can all feel it. It's affecting each one of us in similar and also different ways, but it's something we are all going through, which means the support of a community of people who have gone through similar things is so important. And also that strength that I don't know where I'm going, but I need to go. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just know that this doesn't work anymore. So we are all venturing into the unknown. And of course, what is familiar, even if it's not for the best of us, it's still known. So there is a comfort in staying with what's familiar. And it takes a lot of courage and bravery to step out into the unknown. And we are all going through it one way or another. So we also want to have these calls to have like an embrace, a support, so we can all see that we're not alone in this. There are so many of us going through the same thing. And we are here to support each other and to uplift and inspire each other as we also empower ourselves. We don't know where the world is going. We can only imagine, but we know that what has happened and what is happening now is not for the best. So it's time for us to be the brave ones to create something new. And this is how we make a change, is by coming together, talking about our fears, what's going on in our lives, seeing how our stories are different or similar, and then holding that space, because we are so much stronger together. And when we know that we are not alone, we are all in this here, and we got each other's backs. So I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because when you're within an institution like the education system, you're almost like institutionalized to be, you're not allowed to speak out. It's the fear, and that's got more and more overt as the years have gone on. And you know, it really infuriates me because there's so many good people in the education system, and as teachers, we all know what we're being told. A lot of it isn't for the benefit of the children, it's box ticking. But obviously people have got bills to pay, they've got mortgages to pay, and people are trapped, or they feel like they're trapped, like I did. I felt like I was trapped until I stepped out of it. But there's a real culture of the toxic, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true, so I'm going to say it even though I'm scared to say it, but it's the truth, is that there's a toxic culture in education to the point where teachers, when they get to a certain age, my age, mid to late 40s, early to mid 40s, high up on the pay scale, you get to the point where you do speak out and you'll say things if you don't agree with them. But unfortunately, in the system, they don't want people like me. They don't want people who will challenge. They don't want people who will speak out. They want people who, there's a culture of replacing people like myself and getting in the newly qualified teachers who they can control and who they can clone. And it is so wrong, because this is where I have the guilt as well, because I still feel like schools need people like myself inside, you know, like because I see things through a different perspective. And I don't know, that's why the supply is really good at the minute, because I can still be in the system, well, not in the system, I can still go in and have eyes and see what's happening, and try and make even just a little difference. So it's like, do I walk away completely, or do I still keep my foot in the door? It's just really, really difficult. But I think that's the hardest thing, is speaking your truth and being brave and thinking, do you know what, I'm going to do this. And like, I know now tonight, by doing this, I've crossed a line by speaking out. And this is massive for me, but it's just got to a point where I can't keep quiet anymore. And I'm speaking on behalf of my friends who are teachers, because they're in the system, they've got contracts, they can't speak out. I'm in a privileged position now whereby I can, and I'm doing it on behalf of all those people as well.
Yeah, I absolutely hear you. And also by speaking out loud, you're sort of stating your intent, to the universe as well, which is also a powerful thing, because doors then start opening for you. I mean, you have, avenues available to you. I mean, obviously there's tutoring, which you touched on. I know you're looking to move away from the supply. I wonder, Peter, if you have any thoughts on this, on how Bev can, maybe present herself or present a business idea along these lines.
Yeah. One thing that comes to mind in relation to staying connected with the system rather than kind of turning your back on it completely is creating a kind of consultancy for schools. Now, I haven't got a totally formulated idea of how that will be done and what problem you would present as being able to assist with. There are maybe, I mean, I don't know the statistics, but there may be more and more people pulling out of the system or just avoiding going into the system in the first place for reasons that should interest the schools. They should be interested in understanding why people are looking for alternatives, and having an understanding of that would enable you to create a kind of a bridge. But I don't know whether I mean, this would be something to brainstorm a little bit to get a sense of what sort of mentality the schools have. Perhaps they don't care about adapting or understanding, and they just kind of confidently bulldoze their way through the curriculum, let's say, and just feel that some people will drop out if they. I mean, and maybe the curiosity isn't there. I know that in the let's say in the corporate world, you've got a situation where, because for the sake of saving money, they want to know why there's a turnover of people leaving. And I don't know if schools where it's government schools, it's the taxpayer who pays rather than the school having to deal with the problems. So I don't know that there's actual interest in improvement. So that's a challenge there, of finding out what would they want help with. But I'm sure that you would be able to offer support. It's a matter of understanding what would be a helpful role to play there. And also, I remember, this call came about, and I was seeing also Richard's explanation in the chat, that a couple of weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, the theme came up about homeschooling, but the lack of funds that some people were experiencing in order to be able to afford homeschooling or home tutoring. And so private tutoring is obviously something that is a high expense, whereas managing to get a group of people who can have several kids being tutored at the same time, obviously, yes, that's a different investment that people would. So you may be able to, I mean, now it's a slightly different subject, in terms of that balance between being completely out of the system or in the system is what I was referring to just now. But in relation to that transition, working with education, and perhaps being able to help families that don't have the ability to pay for private tutoring, being able to work with groups of families would be an option. And And ultimately, you can do a mix of them. I mean, you could be doing all three of those things. You could have do some private tutoring. You could do some work with groups. You could also do consultancy with schools. You know, it's a matter of seeing what makes sense for you, what works better. So that's like off the top of my head what comes to mind.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, there are some things I've thought about, but I don't want to dominate the phone call anyways, but thank you. I really appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yeah, I would, oh, sorry, Peter, carry on.
Yeah, just say, I wouldn't worry, anyone, I wouldn't worry about dominating the call, because I'm sure that there are universal aspects of each person's situation, you know, that will be able to, others will get insights about their situation. And so going deep could be helpful, rather than lots of people giving a little bit of information about their situation. It could be more useful for, you know, a couple of people to go deep, and maybe this would be something to continue on another call as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to add to what Madalena and Peter have said as well. As someone who just went into business for themselves just out of the blue, and what I have learned from experience, again, I'm just going to reiterate, it's about building relationships. You know, it's not really seeing people as potential customers, but as someone you can have a long-standing relationship with. And, you know, I never paid for advertising, and I know not everybody advocates this, but I never paid for advertising. And I had I've had very successful businesses, but it's because, you know, I looked as where would my target audience be? So first of all, you need to kind of think, right, who are my target audience? For you, it's fairly straightforward. You've got a great big one in this group to start with. But in general, you know, we need to think, right, who are my target audience? And you kind of want to build an avatar around who your perfect, you know, client, if you like, would be. And I would imagine for most people, you know, awake would be quite a high priority, because you want to work with people who are on a certain wavelength, who understand and see what's happening in the world. But, you know, for you, obviously, you're a teacher, you teach primary school age. So you'll be looking for parents who are looking, you know, at alternative education within a certain age group, their children are a certain age. And to be honest, you know, the key thing is always your authenticity. It's putting it's putting Bev out there, right? And that is where you step out of your comfort zone, right? You're doing it tonight. And I can see there's people already writing in the comments, oh, Bev, you know, what do you teach? Who do you teach? What age range? And so you're already meeting people where they're at. And if you can, you know, find a way of communication, whether you don't have to do lives or videos, but if you're comfortable with that, do lives and videos. Do, you know, the way you write from your heart. If you'd rather just do a text post, write from your heart. Always be guided by your heart, because the message that comes from your heart is the true one, it's the truth, it's your authenticity. You know, and this is why I draw people into my world, is because I always write from my heart. I always try and connect from my heart. And if that means going out there and actually, you know, saying, I have witnessed what's been going on in the schooling system. I have been a teacher in it. I've seen it firsthand. And while I know there's good people out there still in the schooling system, you know, I fully understand why people want to pull their children out. And you can really dive deep into that, because you see it. You can, you know, really connect with those parents who are having those pains and who are worried about how they're going to give their children, you know, a certain level of education. And you're probably even going to be hitting people, I would say, that, you know, don't even want to put their children into education, but they just want to get those crucial skills of reading, writing, you know, numbers and that kind of thing down, so they've got that foundation. You know, I mean, it is a case of sitting down with a piece of paper and just spill it all out there. And, you know, formulate your heartfelt messages around this. And I tell you, people will reach out to you. They will want to connect with you. And this, you know, and for anyone else who's listening, this applies across the board. You know, that there is nothing more attractive than someone who you can connect with, that's speaking their truth, and you go, oh my God, the more vulnerable and more authentic you can be, the more you are going to draw people towards you, because they say, that person gets me, they know who I am, they understand, you know, what I'm feeling, and I can see they're going through that too, therefore I want to connect with that person. So that is my message from me to you, because, you know, this is, for me, I mean, I went through a phase where I was inauthentic, shall we say. We can do that comparison. You know, I was in it for making money. I'm going to put my hands up to that. A few years ago, you know, when I started, it was like, oh my God, I haven't got a job, I've got to make money. And guess what? I didn't make any money, because people see through that. And, you know, it's only these last few years where I've really dived deep in and done some inner work as well. This is also another crucial part of your journey, is actually just getting raw and authentic to yourself, because a lot of people aren't even telling the truth to themselves. But I honestly believe that what we are experiencing, a lot of people are confronting themselves head on at the moment. So it's less of a thing than it was when I was getting going with this. We are seeing some real harsh truths about our own, you know, way we've behaved in the past, and going, oh wow, I've had an influence here, and I want to change that. And you know, these are also things that you can talk about as well. It doesn't always have to be about you getting clients or focusing on your business. It's just about who you are as a person, and people will want to get to know you. So that's sort of my adage there. I hope that helps.
I would also say, you know, there's get out there onto Facebook or any other platforms where there are home egg groups. Get into those groups, interact with people, talk to them, put in posts about, you know, about yourself. But like Karen was saying, just general sort of heartfelt posts, if you're able to post in the groups, comment on people's posts, just get that human interaction going. And it may seem like a slow process at first, but actually it does start to build those bridges, and people do get to know you, and the ones that are attracted to you will want to find out more about you, and they'll ask you what you do, and you know, how they'll want to know how you can help them. So that's just another little aside there.
Thank you everybody, and I think you're absolutely right. It's got to feel authentic to yourself, because I have been part of tutor groups, but a lot of the push has all been about money, and I know I could make money, like big money, but that's not what drives me. To me, that would make me a hypocrite. If it was about money, I would have stayed in the education system. I came out, and it was nothing to do with finances, it was to do with my moral, how I felt morally. And seeing, to me, children in education, the first thing before qualifications is all about the self-esteem, how they view themselves in the world. And unfortunately, things happen within the system that breaks down the children's self-esteem year upon year upon year, and that is the crux to me. I have children who come to me for tutoring now, and to be honest, 80% of it is because the walls are up, the barriers are up, because they've already made, it's really sad to see, it's 7-year-old, they've already made a judgment about themselves, about what kind of child they are, and it breaks my heart. But the satisfaction I get from seeing the children start to believe in themselves again is just amazing, and that's what drives me forward. So that's my focus, on helping children believe in themselves again. Oh.
What you just said, share that. Seriously, that was from the heart. You know, if you watch this back when we post the recording, but that was from the heart. You know, share that, because that will make a parent actually say, "Oh my God, I want this woman teaching my children," because she knows, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can I just ask, Karen? Sorry, see all these comments that are coming up in the chat?
Yes.
Will I be able to access them later? Because I can see people asking me stuff, but I don't know if I've got time to answer now. Can you save those? Can I get access to them later?
Yes, Richard, because I know you're recording this, you should be able to download the comments as well when you
save
finish.
the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
You click on the three dots in sort of the bottom right corner, and there's a save chat.
Right. Okay.
And you should be able to save all those comments sort of now, and then if any more come, you can grab those later as well.
Have you got that, Bev?
Yeah, I've saved them. I might have to message you later on to how to retrieve them again. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Great. And yeah, I saw Sarah Louise, she mentioned earlier actually that there's also, as you might have known, earlier in the week, I interviewed a guy called Tom Hicken, who's setting up the school in Warwickshire, where he wants to set up a network of, teachers, basically who are willing to, do the alternative schooling, sort of with life skills, with teaching skills and all this sort of thing. So I think there's going to be lots coming up for you in the future. You're probably going to find you've got more on than you can take.
right time, right place.
So, and people like yourself as well. Yeah, I see you've got here, I've got Gila, I hope I've pronounced your name right, but it looks like he wants to get in, he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know, wants to get in contact with you.
Brilliant.
So yes, if you can save those chats, if not, we can do that for you as well.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll put a message in the group.
Yes.
I'll put myself under, but I don't know why it keeps putting me up underneath my son Joshua, but I'll introduce myself on the group, and then if people want to contact me, they can contact me.
Yeah, absolutely. And this last comment here from Kenya is, yes, people are definitely crying out for this. I'm in the US, and that's a huge movement here.
Right.
You could get international children, because at the end of the day, these skills are the same, and people are still going to be looking. So don't even restrict your thoughts to this can only be done in the UK, or I can only take on UK people. You could probably actually just throw yourself out there, and if someone from the USA says, oh, I'd love you to tutor my children, because you obviously you'd be doing it over Zoom or some kind of way like this, it's always a possibility. So keep those doors open, I would say.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to add a tiny thing, which is if you can bring together some testimonies from families that you've worked with.
Yeah, I've got some. I have got some.
Great. Because
I think my problem is it's pushing myself out. It's like, oh, it feels cringy and it feels toe curling, because I'm not like I'm just a normal person, and I think I've got to get out my head that when you see people marketing themselves online and they'll do it in a certain way and it's all glossy and it's all, shiny. That isn't me. And to me, I'm just me, and I don't want to change myself. And like you're saying,
that's perfect. Don't worry about that. Yeah, don't think that that's a problem. That authenticity is also going to be important. People will relate to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I can relate to that, Bev. I mean, Karen will tell you, she's my sister, she knows me well. 8-9 months ago, you wouldn't have seen me doing a live, let alone being on something like this, interviewing people. I set up my group, Homeschool DeFi Club, back in late February, and I had 500 people join the first weekend, just from putting a few posts into home ed groups about it. And it's like 1,400 people strong now, and I'm interviewing people and doing all sorts of stuff. So I'm kind of a good example. I'm like you. I used to find it cringy talking about myself. I hated it.
Yeah.
And you kind of get into your stride, and you do. Some people will like you, some people won't like you. It's just the way it is. But I can't even begin to tell you how great it is and how empowering it is when you get to that point, actually, where you're comfortable doing this stuff.
I have put a few posts out, but as soon as I've put them out, immediately afterwards, I'm like, oh, my heart's racing, and it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because we are who we are at the end of the day, and I've done it enough all my life, trying to people please and hide myself, and I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't, and yeah. So I thank you to all of you for letting me come on here tonight, because it's been totally out of my comfort zone, but it's just so nice to have such a supportive group and feeling like I can be safe to be who I am. So thank you.
Thank you, dear. I just want to add, like, it's so beautiful you saying that, because people will want to find you and to come to you because you are exactly like that. So it's not at all like an obstacle. It's literally the way, you being like that and you feeling that you don't want to pamper it. You just want to be super honest and real. That your honesty and your energy is what's going to call the right people to you, which is also super connected with what you were sharing before about the school making clones. So like you're different and like you're feeling triggered of being different because everyone else is doing this very nicely and all of that, but you just want to be real. So it's also unlocking that program from yourself so you can then inspire others. So never think that you being different and wanting to do things different is a challenge. It might be a challenge just because you're getting used to being you, right? And the more you are real, the more the people who will call you, they will feel you instantly, and they will probably not appreciate like if you made it all glamoury and all of that.
I just couldn't do it.
I feel that that's exactly why they will be drawn to you, because of your honesty and your authenticity, and even like just your strength to show up in this call and share and to be seen and held and heard is already giving you so much feedback, and there's all these doors opening for you just from sharing in this space. So, and again, with how the world is and everything that's happening, we are all, I don't have kids right now, but we are all looking, parents are all looking for solutions. And you are one of the solutions that so many people are looking for. And can you imagine the kids and how much they will appreciate you, and their parents, and how much of a difference you're going to make in their lives just by you being you and believing in what you believe in. So you only have strengths with you. So I'm really happy witnessing you, because I feel like a lot of doors opening and a lot of magic coming your way, and you're blessing the world with your magic. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bev. Okay, I'd like to throw it open. Has anybody got any questions? You are welcome to come on live and ask your questions. If you're not feeling brave enough, you can always throw some questions into the chat box. And Bev, thank you so much. That was wonderful. And I think, you know, probably just hearing you will help a lot of people as well who are feeling in a similar position to you. Okay, if anyone wants to ask a question, does anyone want to come forward? You are more than welcome. Okay, if not, I'm going to throw something out there. I'm going to assume that there are people in this audience who would like to do something else, but haven't got a clue what to do, where to start, what you know, where what and all these questions I don't even formulate properly. And I wonder, I mean, I certainly have, because that's how I started. Certainly I didn't have a clue, and it started with an internet search and trusting that the right information was going to come to me, which it did. And I had to go through a massive learning curve as well, which is something I'm hoping this call can help cut short for you a little bit as well. I wonder, Madalena, where would you start? If you were starting over and you thought, I didn't know, I have no idea what I want to do, where would you start?
That's such an amazing question. Yeah, I would just start within. So maybe slowing down, seeing the world around me, and seeing how my energy and the energy of the world wants to interact. So again, what do I like? So what do I like to do, even if I'm not making money? What do I feel drawn to? What makes me excited? What lights up my spirit? And then I would see the world, and I would see, like, from the context of everything that's happening, where is the piece of the puzzle that is perfect, that connection between me and my world that fits perfectly. And maybe it's not one thing, maybe it's many different things. Maybe I change, right now I do this and right now I do that. And that's all okay. But I would focus on me. I would focus on me, and then I would see the world, and how, now that I know myself, even if I have questions, even if I don't know, now that I kind of know myself a little bit more, how can I see that energy fitting into what the world is needing? How am I a piece of the puzzle that is needed for the big puzzle, the big picture? And so it's knowing me, knowing what the world wants, and having my heart and my passion be that fire that ignites my action, right? That makes me move forward and try different things. And maybe this thing I tried, and that was actually not it. Then I tried something else. Oh, that's good, but just sometimes. And now I'm going to try this. And even if we don't have all the answers, none of us do, right? None of us have all the answers. When are we truly ready? Are we ever ready, or are we always ready? And so if I have needs and I have passions and desires, and I see the world needs certain things, then how can we merge? How can we collaborate, me and the world? And as soon as we connect with ourselves and that spark within of inspiration, things gotta start like falling into place. Again, the pieces of the puzzle starts fitting together, right? And then the more you are being you, and the more you are seeing how that is influencing others in whatever way, that also ignites you, the feedback that you have from the world, right? So it lights you up as you light the world up. And again, with all that we are going through, this is the time to try something new. This is the time to go on adventures and experiment and know ourselves and see, what do we want to create? What do we want to make happen? What do I want my contribution to be, right? I know the world needs this. It also needs that. This is happening in the schooling system. This is happening there. This is happening there. What am I passionate about, and where do I fit? And maybe I fit in different places, and that's okay. But it's that connection between who I am and what I love, and what the world is needing right now. Yeah.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. And Peter, how would you expand on that? So once you've figured out, what you might like to do, where you fit in, what skill sets you might want to use, where would you go next? What would you do after that?
Yeah, in relation to the still with the skill sets, if you've heard of a principle, a Japanese idea called ikigai, I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's kind of how I would guess it corresponds with how it's written, ikigai, and it's often seen as a diagram that shows the convergence of your passions, your talents, what you can earn money with, and what else? What you would, I suggest you look it up. I'll write it into the chat so that whoever's interested can look for it. You'll find diagrams that show you this kind of map that help you find your ideal direction, in a way that takes into account what skills you have, what your passions are, and I would add, if it's not in there already, what you would actually even do for free, when you think of what are you passionate about, and see how that converges with what people are needing. Problem that you can solve, I think, might be part of the diagram. So I mentioned towards the beginning, that one way that this can be approached and it can help when people are thinking, okay, I don't know about stepping out into this new thing. Maybe people won't, maybe I don't have enough credibility. Maybe I don't have enough experience. Sometimes there's this kind of self-doubt that comes. And so having the sense that you're putting something out that doesn't involve people having to pay you a lot for it, which doesn't mean you have to earn very little for it, but it means that perhaps you have a group of people rather than just a one-to-one offer. So like a membership program of some kind. So that's one approach, and the opposite in a way in terms of business model, let's say, is to look for a very high value problem that you solve. And so you frame it in those terms, and that helps for you to be able to, and in this case, you're more likely to be working either one-to-one or with a very small group of people, and really focusing not so much on your skills and, you marketing your skills, but focusing on presenting what problem people are having that's an acute problem, a really urgent problem to be solved. And when you communicate about that, not about you and your experience and your past and your this or that, but about this problem, that the way you communicate it, they understand that you get where they're at. And so we would need more time to kind of elaborate how this model can be used in practice. But you've got these two quite different options in terms of, what could be more comfortable in a way of going into, like, I'll just charge people, $10, £10 a month for a membership, or charge them, a couple of thousand a month for a fixed amount of time, because that's going to completely transform their life. It's a very different way of looking at how you package what you're offering. Anything else? Any kind of, if there are any questions on that, I'd be happy to go deeper.
I think something else that people also have issues with when they start doing things like this themselves, either coaching or packages like you're suggesting, Peter, I think a lot of people have unresolved issues around money generally.
Absolutely.
A lot of blocks. You might have been brought up with, sort of money's the root of all evil, rich people are bad, and all these things have an impact. Have you got any suggestions for people as to how they can get around these? I mean, obviously there's a certain amount of inner work needed.
Yeah, that's a really important point, because like I was saying also at the beginning, we've got tools at in our hands, or we've got tools at arm's reach with so much technology, and then just this all the solutions in practical terms are out there, but there are those inner blocks that make us just doubt that we can do it, or that we should do it. Like you said about, money being the root of all evil. And so we don't want to push to get ourselves out there. We don't want to make this big thing, this kind of advertising thing. It kind of feels pushy and feels salesy. And so there are one thing that can make a difference is to be able to shift the attention from what your needs are to what the solution you're offering is, and what problem people are experiencing, and the relief they will feel when they are helped by you. And when you just shift that focus, rather than how am I going to get a client, how am I going to get my audience, to where it's about you, right, into how can I let them know that this solution is available. It's a different way of thinking that moves you differently. When you're not motivated by greed and by, I want to have success, I want to have money, and instead you're motivated by wanting to be of service, it can be quite powerful to have that shift where it's not about you getting your name out there and you getting your image out there, and just shifting, like, how do I help people know what it is that I'm offering, because it's going to help them. And it's actually, there's a sort of what's the word, catch-22 in a way, which is when we're actually kind of pressed for money, it's very difficult to make that shift, because there's a sense of urgency, like, I need to get myself out there, I need to get a client. And so it's challenging to make that shift. And so there's a practice I share, and I'd be happy to send you a recording, anyone who's interested. And it in a 10-minute meditation, it helps to just kind of help the body to self-regulate and the mind to calm, and to bring you into a place of feeling kind of safe and fulfilled in this moment. And it helps from there, you have more clarity to shift out of the worry mode and the scarcity mode into giving and let's say being available to be of service. It's a shift that can make a tremendous difference in our relationship to money, and our relationship to service, and our relationship to receiving, all of that. But we could, again, I get the feeling that we could really explore this in more depth with more time. I hope that's helpful, though.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Peter. And we've had a comment saying, I would love to hear alternatives to coaching or sales. It feels like they are the main options at the moment. And they're not for everyone, definitely not for me. I mean, obviously, did you want to come on at all, Sarah? Putting you on the spot here. I don't know if you want to come on and talk about this and give us a bit more depth to your question.
I have no video, sorry, it's not working.
That's fine, don't worry.
I think for me, I mean, I've tried MLM and everything, and coaching is not my thing either. I'm more creative, but it's like individual, like art things, which isn't, I just feel like there's no real call for what I am skilled at the moment. So everyone's trying to find what they're good at and how they can fit in with this whole new world and how it's going to work. It's all about helping other people, and I don't know, I feel like I'm not finding anything that suits me.
Okay, does Madalena, Peter, Richard, have any of you got anything you wanted to say to Sarah on this? And I'm kind of looking at you, Richard, because I know you didn't have a clue at one point. So
yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I was just unmuted. It's really interesting, because I definitely, when I started the group up, I didn't want to coach, and I didn't want to go sort of into sales. And I don't feel that I mean, I'm doing coaching, but I don't feel like I've gone into sales particularly. I feel that I'm helping people towards a situation that's gonna help them. So I mean, my speciality is crypto. Coaching people in crypto. Now, that's been a bit of an about turn for me, because like I said, I had no intention of coaching at all, but it kind of came as a natural progression. And then I don't feel that what I'm doing is selling or an MLM. I have my group. I teach people about crypto. If they're interested in what I'm teaching, they can sign up for opportunities that I'm also in. Okay, and that's, I make commissions from that. Now, again, you might be saying that's not for everyone, but surely if you're doing, what is it you do, Sarah?
Currently just admin and IT website.
And what would you, I mean, if you could do anything in the world, what would that be?
Pottery. I sew pictures and do pottery. Something creative.
And have you thought about pursuing that at all? And have you thought about, maybe taking some courses, and have you done that, or
yeah, I've done that. It's the whole art doesn't make money, does it? And
Well, that is a mindset thing in itself. It's very funny. I was talking to one of my vaulters, who's one of the coaches at DBM, and she's basically trained as an artist. And she said, basically, as an artist, you're trained into that mindset, almost the starving artist kind of trope. And you know, it's not. I mean, you saying you don't want to coach, but I mean, would you enjoy teaching people how to do those things, or would you, you know, if it's something that you're passionate about?
No, definitely not.
No.
No. I'm not teaching, not coaching, not anything like that. I like to do that on my own, and yeah.
Are you familiar with Etsy, Sarah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's I think the thing is, it's getting started, isn't it? As well, it's the whole, like, I'm a single mum, and so I have to work to pay the bills at the moment. It's finding time to do other things, and it is a lot of your limiting beliefs and having beliefs in yourself and thinking you could do it, finding the niche, finding what people want, and yeah, I don't know if it's the whole finding your life purpose, isn't it? You always feel like it should be helping other people do something, or
I believe art does help other people, quite honestly. Where would we be in the world without artists?
I think that's super important. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I can see Madalena was kind of itching to jump in a bit there as well, and the Shine Tribe perspective.
So Sarah, I see in your picture it says free thinker. So what are you thinking? That's my question. What are you thinking about your situation, and what are those thoughts that you're having about it? Are they helping? So again, when we talk about money and making money, it's almost like we can't talk about that without talking about our mindset and our thoughts and our beliefs and these triggers that come when we do want to do something, right? So it's like, are those thoughts and beliefs helping you and helping the world? Or are they maybe holding you back? Or are they pointing you to another direction or showing you something about yourself? So yeah, I just saw the free thinker, and I just wanted to say that. What are you freely, out of your own free will, choosing to think about you? And like, I'm also an artist, and like pottery, I don't know like what kind of pottery you make. I also like to make clay things. I can show you like one little thing that I made a long time ago. It's like a mushroom house that I made out of a Nutella pot. And like, I don't know what kind of pottery you make, but I think people always need vases. People will always need vases and poetry and okay, that was interesting. I said poetry out of accident, but that was there for a reason. I don't know if it was for you or for someone else. But what kind of pottery you make? But people, like, I used to tell this to my mom. When you go traveling, do you go travel to see what? You go see the architecture, right? You go see the museums and the arts and the foods and all of that, but you go a lot to see the architecture and the design, like all these things that are connected with art. So how could I ever be a starving artist if art is something we are all looking for all the time, to decorate our homes, to decorate where we work, to decorate any kind of party and spaces and everything. So how can that not be a great help to the world? How can someone who is cultivating vegetables or painting something or making poetry not be a contribution for the world? Because we need a lot of things, right? We need teachers, and we need people in crypto, and we need people doing all these things, but we need the artists too, right? We need people who just inspire or just shine. Like, they're not telling you any solutions to anything. They're not doing that kind of, that's not their speciality. Again, each one of us has a unique blueprint. And again, each one of us is a piece of the puzzle. And we need the gardeners, and we need the architects, and we need the very techie people who know all the things about computers, right? We need all of us. We need people making clothes. Like, we need all of us. So whatever it is that you're passionate about, it's there for a reason, and that's just who you are, and that's your contribution to the world. And it's not bigger or smaller than anything else. And therefore, you don't have to make yourself small or make what you're doing seem small in your perception, right? So yeah, I'm just inspire you to be aware of what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
And we all do this, so I don't want to put you on the spot. We all do this, right? I do it myself. We all do it, whatever we are doing. To be aware of our beliefs and the thoughts we have about making money, about our gifts, our passions, what we have to offer the world, our values, and all of that. That's a very important inner work that we all need to do, so we can also like evolve and step up and build a new earth, a new world, a different infrastructures and systems. So we need to have that reflection with ourselves. Does that make sense?
Completely. I love that. That's great. I know, yeah, I am doing a lot of inner work at the moment, so I do know that there is some limiting beliefs in that. I think I was just trying to find other options in the meantime until my inner work's complete. It's never going to be complete, but until I've got the confidence and the I think it's just trying to find other options to do alongside it, perhaps until something happens with it.
That takes me back to what Peter was sharing. So my sharing was about like your gifts and your passion, what you're passionate about, and seeing how that fits with what the world needs. And Peter shared the same thing, but with a main focus on not me, Madalena, me who loves this, who loves that, but what does the world need? And what skills or knowledge do I have that I can contribute, right? So again, it's taking the focus and therefore sometimes the pressure out of me and showing up and what to do, and just seeing where my local community needs me, what is needed that I have the ability to help with. So that's another perspective that's a little bit different and might also be of value in your situation and in many of ours.
Yeah,
seeing what the world needs.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I would also add is always be prepared for you to be thrown a curveball of inspiration as well at any given time that might take you on a completely different track that you don't expect. This happened to me earlier in the year. I started researching, I mean, back in 2020, I mean, I've always been into health anyway, but then I started researching all the hidden kind of health modalities, and I started writing a blog. And I've never written a blog that I've really felt passionate about writing, but I felt passionate about getting this information out there and writing a blog. And with this blog, you'll be amazed, for people who haven't looked at affiliate marketing, the amount of different products you can just affiliate with, and you get paid a commission every time you sell through your link, and obviously I have it stated on my blog that anyone who does buy through my blog, they're not paying more, they're simply supporting my family. For this particular one, it was the chlorine dioxide solution, and I found one, and I'm making these odd dollar commissions here and there, but I'm literally making quite a few a month, so I am making a small income there, and I'm doing nothing because the blogs are written and it's just generating now passively. Also, I do want to touch on MLM, because there is this big stigma about it. And I wanted to make it clear, this is not a pitch for any particular MLM business. It's just talking to the business model, as a whole. Not everybody's into team building, but if you love the products, you can still sell the products. But the key with anything you choose to promote, shall we say, I don't even promote really. just do me, and people come to me and they're interested in what I have to share. You know me from Facebook, Sarah, so you know I don't go out saying, oh, rah, 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 you know, look at me, I'm selling this, that, and the other. I have a website and people can go to that, and if they find things on there that they like, then they can talk to me. And that I just leave it at that, you know. For instance, you know, I'm the one MLM I am involved in is a resonance healing device. And you know, that is so fits with who I am and what I stand for and what I believe in. And, you know, this is what is so important if you want to align with products, because when you align with products, it's actually quite a nice, easy way to create an income without too much hassle. But, you know, I'm not saying that's what you should do either, because nobody should tell you what to do. That's got to come from inside of you, you know, but I would just say, be open to whatever comes your way. Even if you go, oh, no, that's not me, I'm not, just be open to it and look at the potentiality around it. And actually, maybe there's something you do want to get off your chest. Maybe there is something you really want to write about, and you want to maybe start blogging, or you just want to get out there on social media and start talking because it's, you know, it's on your heart. It's just weird that when you open yourself up to, I'm going to do something else that's aligned with my heart, just be open to everything, whether it's, you know, something just comes up on your computer screen as you're scrolling and something just resonates, something just hits you in the heart and you feel good about it. Follow it through. Maybe it'll be something you want to, you know, look deeper into. Maybe it isn't, but we have to follow all of these nudges and not try and pigeonhole ourselves too much. You know, so I mean, I think it's great what you're doing. I think, you know, yeah, do your pottery. And just as an aside, I just want to say, I don't know if you know, there's a group on Facebook called Not on Amazon, and you know, it's people like yourself basically presenting, you know, alternatives to the rubbish you can buy on Amazon, basically, you know, beautiful, unique ideas. So look for Not on Amazon if you're not already in there. And that's a great group to help your business, you know, on the creative side. And Richard, I just want to come back to you again, because obviously we haven't gone much into the crypto. And I think it's one of those things, it's, you know, you can get started in, and obviously Richard has certain courses, you know, education that he provides. Is you've got free training, haven't you, in this, and it is something you can start on and just kind of potter alongside whatever else you're doing. So I just thought I just want to throw that open to you, and to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a bit of negativity around crypto, but this is mainly generated by the media, and you know, of course, they always tell the truth, don't they? So yeah, there's in my group, there's a lot of free education. There are lots of ways to make a passive income through cryptocurrency. You don't have to team build. Okay, the opportunity is there if you want to, but you don't have to, and it doesn't affect your income. You will get the same income as anybody that does team build, except they will be able to build theirs faster because they get commissions. So, you know, that you don't have to be some sort of crypto expert whiz. As Karen said, we've got loads of free education. I work with a group of about 15 or 16 other coaches. We all provide free workshops. They're on virtually every day of the week on all different aspects of crypto, but there are a whole bunch. I personally run a beginner's workshop, how to get started in crypto. And I run another beginner's workshop about passive income in crypto, both on a Tuesday at 2 and 3 in the afternoon UK time. But our coaches run workshops on exchanges, wallets, all different aspects of crypto. So, you know, like I said at the beginning, this sort of education wasn't available a few years ago, and the possibilities to earn passively through crypto, aside from hoping that coins appreciated in value, they weren't there a few years ago. I'm not going to talk about specifics here tonight, but when we put the recording up, I'll just stick my group details in there. But it's, you know, honestly, as Karen said, you can come in, you can go at your own pace. Nobody's trying to hard sell you anything. We have guides in the group that have huge amounts of information that you can just read through at your own pace. Once you've gone through those, if you feel like dipping into some of the free workshops, please do. The coaches are in all different time zones, from the States down to New Zealand, and they'll be happy to see you there. And the fact is that I think crypto is the future. Decentralized finance is the future. I think we're all aware of how crooked the central banking system is, and decentralized finance, I feel, is an antidote to that. It is what is going to provide us with our financial sovereignty at the end of the day, to be in the decentralized systems. It's not always a straight line to get there. It can be a bit intimidating when you start, and it can be quite overwhelming because there's lots of information out there. But in the group with coaches that we have, we are a safe space. We provide a safe space for you to come, to ask questions, to dip your toe in, to find out what it's all about. And if you decide that it's for you and you want to continue and you want to sort of get further education, we can provide further education. If you decide it's not for you and you want to back away from it, that's absolutely not a problem either. It's, everybody makes their own choices. What I will say is that if you do get into it, it is quite addictive. It's, I thoroughly love the space that I'm in. The applications behind blockchain are just phenomenal, the stuff that's going on out there. I mean, people are, for example, tokenizing the rainforest. So you can buy sections of rainforest to save it from developers. So there's all kinds of sort of ethical considerations when you go into it as well. You can actually find projects that suit you and suit your interests. And yeah, I mean, I think that's really all I'm going to say on the matter, because we're approaching sort of an hour and a half now. But it's a fascinating space. If you're interested, reach out to me. You can DM me through Freedom Families. We'll put a link into the Homeschool DeFi Club, and just come along and see what it's all about if you're not already in it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think I can probably say the same for everybody here. What we will do is we will share the contacts for all four of us into the group. So if any one of us resonated in particular that you want to reach out, we'll have those details for you. Madalena, Peter, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up? And guys, everyone else, if you've got any questions, get them in the chat now. Okay, and if we don't, then we will wrap up this call. But yeah, guys, over to you if you've got anything else you want to say.
Madalena, you want to go ahead? I had a quick thing, but you can go first.
Okay, I was just laughing when you said, Karen, that you can be divinely inspired to do something new that you never even expected. And like, again, using me as an example, I used to be an artist and do a lot of energetic work. And all of a sudden I started studying governments and the legal systems and law and all of that. So it's like, I would never, ever in my life think that I would ever be studying that. But it just happens. And now I see, like, again, how the world needs that. And now I have that knowledge that I can share with others. So I just wanted to share my own example of like a divine inspiration that came for something that I never expected to. So I just wanted to add that. Fantastic.
Thank you. And Peter, over to you.
Yeah, in relation to the question that Richard put about the inner work of shifting into making a step out into like, say, putting our work out there, and also in relation to what Sarah was saying about not knowing what direction to take. With both of those, there's an exercise we can do, and we can do a quick version where you ask yourself, and actually Richard did this quickly also with asking, if you could do anything, what would you do? And Sarah immediately, having said she didn't know what she wanted to do, she immediately came, said pottery, and so sometimes we are ruling out, we're putting aside what we really want to do because like she said, you don't make money from art, so therefore it's not on the table. It's not an option. So I don't know what else is really what we're looking at. You know, not including what I'm passionate about. What else could I do? And so to ask the question in the sense, you know, it can be put that way of like, if money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing with your time? So that's one way to get to one of those sectors in that Ikigai framework. You know, what would you be doing if money wasn't the issue? If the money was absolutely no concern, what would you be doing joyfully? And another thing to add to that is, if you had 10 times, 50 times, 100, 1,000 times the confidence you have, then what would you be doing? You know, and that can just shift our thinking, our point of focus to realizing, remembering. Some insight may come from that exercise as well. So if you like, you know, we could take 20 seconds, just do it like a quick version of that. Just give yourself a moment to ask yourself that second question. You know, what if you had double the amount, 5 times, 10 times, 20, 100, 1,000 times the amount of your self-confidence? What would you be looking to do, achieve? What would you be focusing on? And don't look for something rational. Just let the ideas, images come. And breathe while you do this. Don't struggle and think hard about it. Just relax as you leave the question open. So without wanting to extend our call much longer, I'd love to just know if anyone had an insight from that. And to also suggest, if you didn't come up with anything, leave the question open. Let it be there in the back of your mind as this open question, and maybe you'll find insight coming in the next day or two.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much, Madalena.
Pleasure.
Richard. We've had a few lovely comments. Kenya, this was inspirational. Thank you to all the speakers. Mel, I was running a small cleaning firm and now training in applied kinesiology. That's amazing, Mel. I felt this as a calling. This meeting has been inspiring. And Wendy said it's an exciting time in history. It's about diversifying. Yeah, absolutely. It's about bringing, you know, our gifts to the world. And even if we're still trying to figure out what they are, you know, many of us are here, we've come together because we found ourselves in this unexpected situation. And we've probably found ourselves speaking out in ways we never dreamed we would be. But that just goes to show that you've got the courage, you've got the you know, you are feeling those truths within you. So just start trusting whatever comes through. And that was a lovely little meditation with Peter. You know, just ask the question, just start opening the doors, say, show me. All right, guys. Sarah, beautiful. Thank you for all your time and wisdom, and thanks for coming on and speaking, Sarah. I know I put you on the spot. You weren't expecting it. Keith, thank you, everyone. Shine on. And Joe, hi, my daughter was permanently excluded from school today for something silly. This is the start of a new journey for us. So listening to this tonight is inspiring. Thank you. And, you know, this is the reason we're doing this, Joe. And, you know, this is not just for you either. This is for your children. You know, this is the new way to be. Well, it's not the new way, it's the old way, really. But, you know, this is the sort of wisdom we can pass on to them, and they will learn from our own examples. And it can be a learning journey for both of you. So, yeah, it is a wonderful time. It's frightening as well. But once we start empowering ourselves, we can see beyond that fear. And it's a beautiful time. So, oh, you're welcome, Joe. You're welcome. So yes, you know, this group here is as a support for you. We will be placing the recording of this into the group afterwards, so you can come back and revisit it any time. If you have any questions post this meeting, please do post them. I'll get all the relevant details off of Peter and Madalena and Richard, so that you can, and myself, of course, anything we've spoken to this evening, we can help you find those resources quickly and easily, and you can connect with any one of us. So thank you everyone for attending. It's been a wonderful meeting. We absolutely appreciate you guys for showing up, because if you didn't show up, then you know, we wouldn't have this. So thank you so much, Bev. Thank you for sharing your heart today. We really appreciate you. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you all.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.